everyone, it's Amy and welcome back to my channel and to day 4 of the 5-day declutter. If you are new and you have no idea what is going on here, basically I have decided to declutter 5 areas of my life in 5 days and take you guys along for the ride. If you want to join in on this challenge, it's not too late. It's never too late. Even if you're watching this video in 2 years time, it's fine. You can still join in, and you can do that by joining our decluttering Facebook group and downloading my free 5-day declutter workbook. Both of those things will be linked in the description box down below. It's nice to have a sense of community when you're decluttering and, like, you know, have people behind you who are trying to achieve the same goal. The goal for today is to declutter my paperwork, and originally that was going to be like important documents, notebooks, old like essays from university, like literally any kind of paper that exists in my life. But I'm going to simplify it a little bit because this week has been pretty intense so far, and I'm just going to be decluttering like post, all the letters and packages and junk mail that has come for me over the last 2 years while I've been living overseas and has been slowly accumulating, as well as some of my old documents that probably are out of date now. In the spirit of full disclosure, I am a walking disaster today, or rather this day is a disaster and I am just trying to make it through. 100% not my best self today. 1/10 of my regular self. But I'm on my second cup of coffee today. I'm determined to do this because I don't know about you guys, but when I'm feeling kind of down, when I feel like the world is spiraling out of control around me, I take some comfort from decluttering and organizing my stuff, because at least that's one small part of life that I have control over. So let's get this going. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's go. I feel a little bit confused right now, partly because my brain is just not in the right headspace today, and partly because I don't even know where all of my paperwork is. I know for sure we have some up here. So this is a file of basically, oh, some buttons. I'm just such a loser. I literally have my spare buttons organized in a file just in case I need a button. Judge me if you will, because that is a pretty weird thing to have. But aside from the buttons, this file basically has all my most important paperwork. Like if ever someone was like, hey, where's that important document? I would like to think it would be in this file, but a lot of things are probably out of date and they're now like bank account information for accounts that I no longer own, buttons that I clearly don't need to have in a file. So we can go through and get rid of a little bit of stuff out of there. In this file, I should have the majority of my certificates from all the exams I've taken. In this box is every piece of paperwork I had while I was living in Bahrain, so contracts, probably more certificates, and anything important while I was living overseas. And now we're gonna go check out the post situation. You know how in most houses you have like maybe a drawer where you keep any letters that you kind of like haven't gone through yet and you need to get around to doing eventually. We have 4. Since I have no idea which of those drawers my letters have gone into, I've just brought them all. I think the first logical step for today is to go through these little baskets, see what's junk mail, what is actually important that I need to keep, what I need to shred and dispose of safely, and divide all of that up. That just seems like a good place to start. So immediately, one thing I've noticed is that somehow, while I've been away, my bank has decided to start sending me paper statements again. When I first set up my bank account, I opted for paperless statements because it's better for the environment, it's less clutter, and it's just easier to find your statements when you need them, because they're either all on the app or they get emailed to you, or they're on online banking, or all 3 together at the same time. I've had that bank account for years and I've never received a paper statement, but it looks like in the last year I've been getting paper statements every month. And I haven't even been living in the country. So one big tip I have for you if you want less paper clutter is to make sure all of your bank statements and your bank letters are set to paperless. That way you don't have them coming through the door in a physical copy, because at the end of the day, you don't really need a physical copy, and any kind of letter from the bank is kind of difficult to get rid of because it has sensitive information and you need to shred it and make sure that you're not victim to fraud. And it's just like, get it emailed to you instead and you solve all of those problems. So clearly I need to get onto my bank and find out what's going on with that, because I don't want all this paper in my life. Surprisingly easy. I mean, going through papers is one of the easiest and quickest things to do for me. I mean, it's a pain because it's just annoying and repetitive, but I have no emotional attachment to my post or my bank statements. If anything, I want to get those out of my life because I don't want to be reminded of how much I've spent. But today I really didn't have that many to go through. I think because most of my banks now know not to send me any paper. I don't know what happened with Barclays. So I went through, and what I like to do personally is rip off anything that has like sensitive information, like my name, my address, my account details, and all of that can get shredded. But everything else, I just like throw into a pile, all the junk mail, all the stuff that doesn't have personal information, and then I can put that in the recycling. But so far, this is the pile of stuff that I've been able to get rid of. Also, I like to point out that I always rip these little like plastic screen things out of the envelopes so that I can recycle the envelopes too. Now I'm going to take some kind of decongestant. Decongestant, help me. And then I'm going to rifle through that big file that I have and see what's out of date, because obviously you need to keep things for a certain amount of time, especially because in the past what is happening? Especially because in the past I was self-employed, and so I had to file my taxes as a self-employed person, and you need to keep your receipts. I should double check how long you need to keep those for, because maybe I don't need them anymore. But anything I don't need in that file, I am now going to begin the process of getting rid of. Hopefully we can condense everything down today and get things a little bit more streamlined and organized. So I was just able to get rid of probably about 15 receipts from like 2017 and before. The earliest one I found was from 2013. Who needs this? I think it's really important to keep receipts for expensive items that have a warranty, and to keep them in one place that you know where they are. Also really important to throw them away once the warranty is void, because otherwise you just, like me, have a bunch of receipts from like years ago. So one thing that I'm noticing, because I have a bunch of different savings accounts and current accounts and more bank accounts than any one person needs, I have a lot of those welcome letters that give you all of the information that you need, like all of your account information, telephone numbers, passwords, the whole shebang. And I have one of those for each account, and that's taking up space. I think a good idea is going to be for me to consolidate all of that. So to take all of that important information, like my online username and password and that kind of stuff, and put it down onto one sheet where all of my bank account information is just printed on one sheet instead of being spread across 12. Obviously, I'm gonna have to keep that very safe and not just leave it lying around ready for any old fraudster to take a look at. But as long as I'm safe with it, I think that's a better option. So I just went into the junk cupboard to see if I could find any paper that I could transfer all of that account information onto, to try and condense that down. And while I was in there, I found this binder, which was my first binder of worksheets from when I used to teach secondary English. I don't teach secondary English anymore. And if I'm being completely honest, I don't foresee myself teaching secondary English again. So I can get rid of pretty much this entire binder of papers, and that feels pretty darn good. So I wanted to show you guys where I have landed with all of this and how things are looking at the moment. So I went through this big pink box file and got rid of a bunch of stuff in here. I figured out that a lot of the receipts and tax information that I was holding on to, I didn't need to be holding on to anymore. So that cleared out a lot of space. And then, like I said, I condensed down all of my information from different bank accounts and usernames and all that stuff into just one sheet instead of having a bunch of them. So now I have very little in here. I also managed to take the paperwork that was in this box, get rid of some of that, and then put anything important into here as well. And then all of my certificates and degree stuff is in here. And now let me show you the pile of papers that I am recycling today. There it is. It's pretty hefty, I would say. I wish it could have been more, but honestly, I can't do anymore. I'm just not feeling good, and I don't want to push myself and make it a miserable task, but I feel like I've achieved something today and I want to kind of leave it on that high. I know that this is going to turn out to be probably a much shorter video, much more concise, and not as great as my others, but hopefully you took some value from it and hopefully it was inspiring in some way. I am just ready to like get in the bath and then probably go to bed, and it's what, like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. But thank you guys so much for joining me for another slightly shorter declutter today. Hopefully I'll be feeling a little bit better tomorrow for when I tackle the junk room. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video either way. If you are decluttering today, let me know how it went. I hope that you guys had a slightly more successful day than me. I'd love to hear about it. It's so motivational and just like really keeps me in good spirits. I love that we're sharing our achievements. But until tomorrow, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all so much and I will see you then. Bye.